As Christians, we believe that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. We are confident that God calls us to be part of restoring all of creation to full life.
That's why this year, as the UK prepares to host the United Nations Climate Summit COP26, churches across the UK are getting ready to take action through Climate Sunday.
Climate Sunday is an initiative of the UK Church's Environmental Issues Network. We're calling on churches all across the country to get involved in taking action for climate justice.
So, what does it involve?
We're inviting churches to begin prayer and worship. Our calling to climate action begins with our faith. Hold a climate service, and together as a church family, begin to explore why action for the climate is part of our discipleship.
We're also inviting you to commit to long-term action for creation. In this crucial year for our climate, we as churches can play our part in the journey of our whole society towards climate-positive living. Discern the next step for your church to take together.
Finally, we're inviting you to speak up. The church can bring a distinctive voice to the call for climate justice, rooted in our faith in a just and generous God. Join with others in calling for our leaders to be courageous at COP26 and to take ambitious action for creation.
This is a year for our church to live out our mission, to love our neighbour and to seek justice for all creation. How will you get involved?
The world is facing an unprecedented climate crisis. Pope Francis has been a powerful voice calling for immediate action. Perhaps the action needed is a weekly Earth Sabbath. The concept of a weekly Earth Sabbath was introduced in his encyclical Laudato Si. The Pope has met with world leaders, urging binding climate targets. Pope Francis has called for a phase-out of coal, oil, and gas. At the UN Climate Change Conference, the Pope urged decisive action. Pope Francis urged world leaders to end divisions and unite. The time for action is now. We must heed the Pope's call. It's time for everyone to put into action the keeping of a weekly Earth Sabbath. We must support the weekly Earth Sabbath global movement and take individual responsibility. Together, we can create a sustainable future for generations to come. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world. Unite with us in the fight against climate change. Visit www.earthsabbath.world.
The 2024 G7 Summit in Italy promises to be a pivotal event in shaping a more sustainable future for our planet. As the world's leading economies gather, the agenda will focus on critical issues such as economic resilience, security, and ethical AI development. The esteemed participation of Pope Francis will lend a moral voice to discussions on ethical AI development and global cooperation. Italy's diplomatic efforts will advocate for a ceasefire in Gaza and a reduction of tensions in the Middle East conflict. Italy is pushing for an ambitious coal phase-out by 2025, demonstrating its commitment to sustainable energy and environmental stewardship. The Italian presidency will prioritise the defence of the rules-based international system and engagement with developing nations and emerging economies. The summit's agenda will cover critical topics like stability in the Indo-Pacific region, cybersecurity, and the responsible development of artificial intelligence. One of the most significant proposals should be the introduction of a weekly Earth Sabbath to combat climate change and promote environmental stewardship. The weekly Earth Sabbath aims to establish a global day of rest and reflection on environmental sustainability, raising awareness, and inspiring collective action. By championing the weekly Earth Sabbath, Italy would position itself as a leader in international diplomacy and environmental sustainability on the global stage. The 2024 G7 Summit and the weekly Earth Sabbath proposal could present a unique opportunity to address pressing global challenges and foster international cooperation. We need protesters in Italy to act now as a voice for a weekly Earth Sabbath. By bringing together world leaders and engaging the global community, this summit has the power to drive meaningful change and shape a sustainable future. The 2024 G7 Summit in Italy represents a pivotal moment in our collective journey towards a better tomorrow for generations to come. Visit www.earthsabbath.world.
I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who can prove to me from the Bible alone that I am bound to keep Sunday holy. There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. The Bible says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." The Catholic Church says, "No, by my divine power I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week." And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in a reverent obedience to the command of the Holy Catholic Church. T. N. Wright, CSSR, in a lecture at Hartford, Kansas, February 18, 1884. The Catholic Church for over 1,000 years before the existence of a Protestant, by virtue of her divine mission, changed the day from Saturday to Sunday. The Catholic Mirror, September 23, 1893. Question: which is the Sabbath day? Answer: Saturday is the Sabbath day. Question: why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? Answer: we observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church in the Council of Laodicea, AD 336, transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. Peter Geierman, The Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine, 2nd edition, 1910, page 50. Question: have you any other way of proving that the Church has power to institute festivals of precept? Answer: had she not such power, she could not have done that in which all modern religionists agree with her. She could not have substituted the observance of Sunday, the first day of the week, for the observance of Saturday, the seventh day, a change for which there is no scriptural authority. Stephen Keenan, A Doctrinal Catechism, page 174. There is but one church on the face of the earth which has the power, or claims power, to make laws binding on the conscience, binding before God, binding under penalty of hellfire. For instance, the institution of Sunday. What right has any other church to keep this day? You answer by virtue of the third commandment. The papacy changed the fourth commandment and called it the third, which says, "Remember that thou keep holy the Sabbath day." But Sunday is not the Sabbath. Any schoolboy knows that Sunday is the first day of the week. I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who will prove by the Bible alone that Sunday is the day we are bound to keep, and no one has called for the money. It was the Holy Catholic Church that changed the day of rest from Saturday, the seventh day, to Sunday, the first day of the week. T. N. Wright, CSSR, in a lecture delivered in 1893.
Another angel, a second, followed, saying,
"Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality."
And another angel, a third, followed them, saying with a loud voice,
"If anyone worships the beast and its image, and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink the wine of God's wrath, poured full strength into the cup of his anger, and he will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb."